What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Now today we're gonna cover the top 8 deck lists from the North American International Championships, and we're gonna cover the Masters, the Seniors, and the Juniors. And we're gonna kick things off and actually talk about the Masters divisions. I think it's cool to talk about the Masters, and Seniors, and Juniors, and everybody's gonna have their own day. We're gonna talk about them. And one of the cool things about this weekend is I had so many people come up to me saying thank you for covering my deck. Like Seniors and Juniors come up to me saying like thank you for covering my deck, talking about the top 8 and stuff like that. So it's cool to show off their decks as well. And I know there's a bunch of Seniors and Juniors that do watch this, and I know they do appreciate that. So we're gonna cover all of them. But the good thing about all top 8 of these is they do have like different outcomes, which is really nice to see. Now, the only unfortunate thing on Pokemon.com, the internationals where the deck lists are, they don't have the top 8 standings, but they do have another list with the standings, and Pokemon finally did something I wanted, and they have a bracket of who played against what in top 8, so we can actually tell who played each other in top 8, how they do, how they won, all that kind of good stuff. And some of these games you can watch on the Pokemon YouTube channel. So check that out if you want to. Links to everything will be down below. The internationals deck list, the standings, and the YouTube channel. If you've never seen their YouTube channel, go check them out. They have all the videos from everything they've ever streamed. So in 8th place we have Alex Kreckler. Son of Vince Kreckler, who owns the Yeti Gaming. He has done phenomenal this year so far. He made top 4 or top 8 at Mexico Regionals a couple months ago, and not a month ago, not a couple months ago, but a month ago almost, playing his signature Greninja Break deck. Now, Greninja Break was a very, very hyped up deck that some people thought didn't have a chance. You just get you just brick sometimes. You can't get Greninjas out, but we've seen that Alex can. You can do well with it. So Greninja has that Shadow Stitching, the Moonlight Slash 40. Your opponent can't use any abilities, anything like that, and Moonlight Slash 60. And you put a Water Energy in your hand, you do 20 more damage. With Greninja Break, you have the Giant Water Shuriken, so you can do 60 to everybody. But you have to discard water out of your hand, and he's got to be active. But that Greninja does have free retreat, so you're able to switch in between different Greninjas if you want to, and potentially get 2 Greninja Breaks attacks off. And we're see is going the Talonflame version. Talonflame does have the Gale Wings. If you start with it, you can start with it. You can put it down as your face down active Pokemon, and it does have the attack Aero Blitz. Aero Blitz does 40, and you search for 2 cards in your deck and put them into your hand. Now this is really good because Alex does play stuff like Rare Candy. If you need to skip a stage, maybe go Rare Candy Greninja, you need to be really aggressive. You could do that. For the most part, when you use Talonflame, you're probably grabbing like a Froakie, like a Frogadier, and like an energy or something, or a supporter if needed, because the point of the deck is always go for the turn 2 water duplicates. Water duplicates lets you search for 30 Frogadiers and put them onto your bench. This is really strong. It gets a bunch of stage 1s out, and then next turn you can start evolving to Greninjas with that 130 HP, and then another turn 170 HP Greninja Break. So that's really, really strong, and did prove very well. Now, one interesting thing about his list you're going to see is the Talonflame Break. Now, we don't care about the attack and needs 2 fire energies. What we really care about is that it has 170 boosted HP. So now it's, instead of the 130, it has 40 more HP, so 170. And now it's a fire type. You can still use Aero Blitz with just 40, and now can hit weakness on not grass Pokemon, or fire weak Pokemon. And with a Choice Band, you do additional 30 damage. So 4, 5, 6, 7, you could do 140, and easily just 2-shot the grass and metal Pokemon before they actually get set up. And this Talonflame Break could be really good. Help you knock out early Metangs and Beldums, stuff like that. Maybe you get lucky and knock out some Rowlets. You could actually knock out a Vileplume with it. You could Talonflame Break to knock out a Vileplume. No, you can't, because you don't hit for weakness because of Choice Band. You don't hit for Choice Band. So you only do 80 to a Vileplume. So that's unfortunate. But with Kikui, you can knock out Beldums, stuff like that, and Miltangs. Because with the Kikui you do 120, so that would knock out Beldum, stuff like that, if they're in an active spot. But either way, just putting that pressure on Decidueyes and Metagrosses are really nice, and then you can start setting up knockouts with a Greninja Break plus a Moonlight Slash. I think Metagross is probably a good matchup regardless, because Shadow Stitching 40, they can't use their abilities, so they can't use Metagross's ability to keep recycling energies over and over again. So it's a really hard matchup for them either way, I think. Decidueye is very scary, for sure, but with Talonflame Break, it does give him a chance. He did beat it in Mexico, if I remember correctly, so it is possible to beat the deck. So his energies are going to be 7 water and 2 splash energies. Splash energy says if this Pokemon's knocked out while there's energy attached to it, put that Pokemon line back into your hand, so that we can get back the Greninja Break, the Greninja, the Frogadier, and maybe the Froakie if you went that route and had all the whole line there. Usually you're getting the Frogadier Greninja, but sometimes not the Froakie because of the water duplicates. Now, for supporter cards, you're going to see one Lysander, one Ace Trainer. The one Lysander might seem kind of bad, but I think it's fine. I mean, you have like a bunch of damage you can deal with Greninja Break and like just snipe Pokemon on the bench that you can't knock out. And that's the good thing about Greninja Break. Your opponent can try to hide, but with the giant water shuriken, you kind of just knock him on the bench, which is really cool. One Ace Trainer, and the reason why Ace Trainer is so good in this deck is your opponent is going to take knockouts fairly quickly, and with Ace Trainer, you can punish them, make them shuffle. They have 3 cards in the deck, or 3 cards in hand, so if you're down on prize cards, both players shuffle their hands to the deck, you draw 6, and your opponent draws 3, so it can punish them for taking early prize cards. We're going to see 4 Sycamore, 4 N, of course, maximum amount of supporter cards, and 2 Ultra Ball and 4 Dive Ball. Now, the 2 Ultra Balls mainly for the Talonflame Break, but the Ultra Ball can also discard other Talonflames that you don't need in your deck anymore, because once your turn... Like, once your first turn's over, you can't put down Talonflames anymore. You have to start Talonflame, and after that, there are 3 dead cards in your deck. And unfortunately, if you don't start the Talonflame, there are 4 dead cards in your deck. But luckily, with Ultra Ball, you can discard those Talonflames and get them out of your deck, which is really nice. 4 Dive Ball, because our whole deck is water Pokemon. 1 Rescue Stretcher, which can shuffle 3 back in the deck, or put 1 in hand. Now, this is really good. You used to have just Super Rod, and that was it. But with Stretcher, you can be like, okay, I really need a Greninja this turn, so we can put that down. Or if you have a bunch of Pokemon in the discard pile, of course, Rescue Stretcher can get those back. 2 Choice Band, which makes Greninja start hitting some cool numbers. With the Moonlight Slash, you do 80. And then with a Choice Band, you do 110. And then with the Giant Water Shuriken, you do 170, which can knock out a bunch of Pokemon in the game, so that's really nice to have for sure. 4 VS Seeker, 3 supporter cards. 2 Field Blower, which is going to help us out against Garbodor. One of the decks that Greninja did struggle with was Garbotoxin, not be able to use your abilities. But now with Field Blower, we have that opportunity because we can get rid of those Floodstones off the Garbotoxin Garbodors. 2 Max Potions, and this is great because Greninja has 170 HP, so it's hard to one-shot. You have to, most Pokemon have to two-shot it, unless you're like Rayquaza or your Decidueye, and you're hit for weakness, stuff like that. But with Max Potion, you can just heal your Greninja Break, which is fantastic. Even against Metagross, you can heal your Greninjas, because they only do 150, so that's really nice as well. 1 Fishman to give back those water energies, put 4 basic energy cards, Furbish Capel into your hand. Always really nice. And 2 Rare Candy. Now, 2 Rare Candy might seem kind of weird. You really don't see this too much in Greninja decks, but what you could do is you could have 2 Froakies down, evolve 1 into a Frogadier, and then water duplicates. They did take a knockout. You can then turn that bench Froakie, Rare Candy, to Greninja, and kind of skip stages like that. So Rare Candy is very useful, and it's actually really good in this deck. And we do see 1 Super Rod as well. So not only does he have the Rescue Stretcher, he has the Super Rod help out to give back those Pokemon, and the Super Rod does give back energies. And there is 1 Kikui as well to do additional 20 damage. Because like I said, when I did the math with Greninja Break and the Greninja with the Moonlight Slash, you're doing 170. But with Kikui, you could swing for 190, which then knocks out, the 180 HP Pokemon. And that's going to be Alex Kreckler's top 8 Greninja Break deck. Alright, so next up is going to be, these are in order, so don't pay attention to this. This is not in order at all. In 7th place, we have Andrew Mahone playing a Zoroark Drampa deck. Now, Zoroark was definitely one of the key decks coming to U.S. Nationals. Is very strong. Everybody was like, all right, this is the best deck. How do we beat it? Blah, blah, blah. And we see that, Andrew's keeping the hype of Zoroark and making it to the top 8 with this deck. Now, there's something interesting about his deck. We'll go over that in a second. But first off, let's look at the deck. So Zoroark, got that Mind Jack 10 plus 30 for more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So the full bench of 5, you do 160 with Choice Band 190. 2 Zoroark Break with that Foul Play attack, letting you copy your opponent's attacks if needed. And of course, for Zora, I do like just playing this Zora and not the other one because this one's auto confused and the other one's pick a card, shuffle into your opponent's deck, which seems very useless. 1 Shaymin EX, which if you're not playing Greninja, I think you need at least 1 Shaymin in your deck. It's really good just to put down a Shaymin and draw a bunch of cards. The only problem with Shaymin now is he has 110 HP. He's really squishy, and not everybody is playing it, but I think you need that 1 in your deck just to help set up if needed. 2 Drampa, of course. Drampa has that Righteous Edge 20, discard a special energy off your opponent's active, and the Berserk 80. And then 70 more damage if a Pokemon on the bench has damage counters. And of course, we're going to get damage counters with the Team Mega Secret Base. When you put a Pokemon down, they take 2 damage counters. Or even the Rainbow Energy. We see that he is playing both the Team Mega Secret Base and the Rainbow Energy, which is really nice. Two Tapu Lele for, gotta find a supporter cards. One in Ringaroo, which is really nice for that Instruct for 3. We've seen this card being used in a ton of decks now, and just being in late games, like the 2 cards, and then like you can play those 2 cards down, then a Ringaroo for another one is really nice. And the cool thing with the Ringaroo, let's say you get into 1, you draw a card, you have 2, and one of those is an Ultra Ball. You can then a Ringaroo for another card for 3, Ultra Ball those 2 for like a Lele, and keep the party going. 1 Oricorio for the Super Natural Dance. You could use Revelation Dance for 30. We're using Supernatural Dance to help knock out Vespiquens and stuff like that. For each Pokemon in your opponent's discard pile, put 1 damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. Now, this could be actually really good against decks that are not Vespiquen, because let's say like Zoroark swings, like they do 160 damage, they don't take a knockout, and your opponent retreats it, and you whiff the Lysander. Well, then you can then use Oricorio, because your opponent should at least have maybe 2 Pokemon in discard pile, and you can knock them out that way, which is really nice. But the one spicy thing in his list is going to be Turtonator GX. Now, Turtonator GX has that Shell Trap, and that's all we really care about. Well, I guess you can care about Nitro Tank, but Shell Trap has that. It does 20 during your opponent's next turn if the Pokemon's attack. If it's hurt by an opponent's attack, you put 8 damage counters on it. Yeah, if it's I can't read it. Can we see this card up close, please? Nope. Hold on, there we go. Alright. Yeah, it's got the Shell Trap 20 during your opponent's next turn, and this Pokemon is damaged by an attack. Even if the Pokemon's knocked out, put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Alright, so this is really good. We're not looking at Tord's deck, we're looking at Mahone's deck. Alright, so this is really good because with Turtonator plus a Choice Band, you could then do 50, which is 100 damage, and then with Hidden for Weakness on Grass Pokemon. And with Kukui, you can do additional 20 damage. So you kind of see how you kind of like put some pressure on the Pokemon. Because if you Turtonator with a Kukui and a Choice Band, you do 3 or 5, 6, 7, 140. And then if they hit you, they get buffed for 80, which is 210. So it could knock out some Pokemon that are weak to like fire if needed. It's just really good, like just to be like, all right, I'm Shell Trapping you, and if you attack me, you're going to get bopped for 80, which can set up some numbers later on with Zoroark and stuff like that. It's a very interesting card. I'm not 100% sure how it plays out in the grand scheme of things. I guess I imagine it's mainly for Decidueye. You just Turtonator against Decidueye, and they swing it to you. You can then knock them out next turn. Because you have 190 HP, it's going to be hard for Decidueye to one-shot you. So if you're like, Turtonator, Shell Trap, Choice Band, you do 100, they swing into you, you get a Shell Trap again for the knockout, they hit you again, you can do another 80 damage, and Turtonator can easily put a lot of pressure on your opponent. So I imagine that's what it's for Decidueye. I don't know, I didn't play the deck, unfortunately. But 5 Dark, so that way you can use Zoroark Breaks attack for the most part. Also with Turtonator, you can use Nitro Tank GX. I don't think it actually does anything, because I don't think, yeah, you don't have fire energies in your discard pile, so I mean you can use Nitro Tank GX, but I would not suggest it. The GX tech you probably want to use is either like Drampa's Big Will, or you can use Tapu Lele's Tapu Cure, because you do put that Rainbow Energy to heal 2 of your bench Pokemon any way you like, which is really nice. So it's probably the 2 GXs you want to use, or even Zoroark Breaks can copy a GX tech, which is really cool as well. But 5 Dark, 4 Double Colors, and 1 Rainbow Energy. So 4 Sycamore, 3 in, 1 Hex Maniac. Again, we're gonna help like disrupt like Metagross decks. Metagross is a kind of a hard matchup for sure. But with Hex Maniac, if you can Hex Chain them, you can make it where they can never use their abilities and get more energies on the field. 1 Bridge to help set up, get those multiple Zoras on the field. 1 Teammates, which is really good, because if they knock out a Zoroark, you can then Teammates for a Zoroark and a DCE and keep the party going. 1 Kukui to do additional 20 damage and draw 2 cards. 2 Lysander, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker. 4 Choice Band. We're making sure we're not missing a Choice Band here to just take knockouts. 2 Flowstone, 2 Stretcher, and 1 Special Charge. And that's going to be Mahone's deck. I'm going to try not to talk too much about the item cards. We know a lot of these cards do already. Alright, so next up is 6th place, which is going to be Ryan Sablehouse playing the Volcanion Turtonator. So we already covered Turtonator. We know what this guy does. Still Trap 20. If you want attacks, it take 80. But it has that Bright Flame. It does 160. Discard 2 Fire Energies from this guy. Or the main thing which we really use is the Nitro Tank GX. Attach 5 Fire Energies from your discard pile any way you want on your Pokemon. Which means you can put one on Turtonator. You can put multiple Volcanion EXs, which is really nice. Overall, just get a bunch of energies on the field thanks to that Nitro Tank GX attack. And the reason why this is so good, you're going to look at Ryan's list and only see 2 Max Elixir. Of course, this is to help out against Garbodor because Garbodor feeds off of item cards. But since you kind of negate that with Turtonator GX, you're in a better position to take down the deck for sure. So, 3 Volcanion EXs, I'm not sure how much I like 3 Volcanion EXs. I mean, obviously Ryan did like amazing with it, made top 8 with it. But I just always hate if you prize one, you're kind of in trouble. But I think if I remember correctly, Ryan prized like 2 Volcanion EXs and still won games. That's just how good like Turtonator GX is. Like just being able to Bright Flame for 160 with the Choice Band 190, and you have 190 HP. Turtonator is a good attack overall, but Volcanion EX has that Steam Up, you discard a Fire Energy, and your Fire Pokemon do 30 more damage, and it has that Volcanion Heat 130, and you can attack again next turn, but then you can retreat, Olympia, switch, retreat, any kind of stuff like that can negate the Volcanion Heat, and you can reuse it on the next turn. For Volcanion, another way to get energies on the field, and probably the main way, Volcanion has that Power Heater 20, and you choose 2 of your bench Pokemon and attach a Fire Energy to each one of them. This is going to help you set up your Volcanion EXs pretty quickly and help you take knockouts. And, you know, like I said earlier, you kind of just want to get it on Garbodor. And 2 top elite, of course, with the Wonder Tag. No Shaman in the stack. He's going to opt not to play it. And a 1-1 Starmie. The good thing about the Staryu is that's free treat, which is really nice. But Starmie has that Space Beacon. Once during the turn before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, put 2 basic energies from your script pile into your hand. Now, this is going to be really good. Before Starmie, everybody played kind of like Inner Retrieval. Well, I guess before Garbodor, everybody played Inner Retrieval. But now what you can do is just like discard a card from your hand and get 2 out and have it immediately Inner Retrieval over and over again, which is really, really nice. It does help counter that Garbodor deck pretty well. And if you get into 1, you can then like Space Beacon for like basically 2 Fire Energies, so that's really nice as well. 14 Fire Energies, we're not going to miss a Fire Energy with this deck. Don't worry about that. 3 Lysander, which is a lot, but you see he does play 3 VS Seeker. Once again, he's countering the best deck in the format, which is Garbodor. 4 N, 4 Sycamore, and 1 Olympia. That Olympia is in there to help activate, or kind of like keep the Volcanions own, just keep attacking own and own again, because you can Olympia to a Pokemon with the Flow Stone, and then switch back out and attack with Volcanion Heat again and again and again, which is really nice. 3 VS Seeker, and did he play 3 VS Seeker? Let's see. No, 4 VS Seeker, correct? I think it's the first list with 3 VS Seekers. Yeah, so we're gonna see that Ryan's all about beating like Garbodor. He's playing his deck specifically to beat Garbodor, for sure. So 3 VS Seeker, 3 Ultra Ball. You can see once again just trying to counter the Garbodor attacks. 2 Flip Blower, which is gonna be really good once again against Garbodor because Garbodor has that Garbotoxin shutting down your Steam Ups, which is what you really need to take knockouts with Baby Volcanion. 2 Max Elixir, of course. Look at top 6 cards. If you find a Fire Energy, attach to one of your basic bench Pokemon. 2 Switch, of course, switch out your active. Once again, 2 reactivate Volcanion EX's attack if needed. 2 Flowstone, 3 Fear Belt, which is something very interesting about Ryan's list. Is most people are, they want to play the Choice Band. They want to do additional 30 damage. But with Ryan, he wants to play the Fear Belt to get that additional HP. And he's like, whatever, if they play a Field Blower, that's fine. They're not going to play 3 Field Blowers, so at least going to have 1 Pokemon with 1 Fear Belt on it, and be a little bit more tankier. 1 Rescue Stretcher to get a Pokemon in your discard pile back into your hand. Now, this is something we don't usually see in Volcanion decks, is a Rescue Stretcher or a Super Rod. So it's a very one-of-good card that Ryan does play, especially since he only plays 3 Volcanions. He can easily recycle those over and over again. And 3 Brooklyn Hill to search your deck for water Pokemon and put onto your bench, which could be Volcanion X or Staryu if needed. This is going to partner well with the 3 Ultra Ball to help get those Volcanions out, since you do play a lower Ultra Ball count. But with Brooklyn Hill and 3 Ultra Balls, you should, by turn 2, have all 3 out in the field, which is fantastic. So that's going to be Ryan Sewell's top 8 Volcanion Turtonator decks. Next up, it's going to be the last spot, and that is going to be Gustavo Ueda from Brazil. Shout out to Brazil coming out here and making top 8, but playing an Alolan Ninetales deck. A deck that, a lot of people did not think was going to do that well at all, but Gustavo proving us wrong and saying, hey, I'm really good at this. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. The 2011 Junior Division World Champion. So you can see he knows what he's doing here. Alright, you can see even here in the description, his deck at the North American Internationals is unconventional and includes support from Octillery to help keep his hand in top shape. So that's a thing to prove. The point here is His deck list is something we really didn't expect to do well, but Gustavo, like I said earlier, world champion, he knows what he's doing, and let's look at his deck. So he's got the Vulpix with a Beacon, search for 2 Pokemon, put in your hand. Now the cool thing about Beacon is it does not need any energy. That is why it's a colors in its attack. You got the 3 Alolan Ninetales with the Ice Blade 50 to anywhere on the field, active for the bench. Blizzard Edge for 160, but you have to discard 2 energy, and you might be saying 160, that's not enough to knock out anything. But of course, in these decks we have, let's see, where is that? Choice Band, so now you do 190, and with a Kukui, do 20 more, so 210. So you can easily swing 210 with a Alolan Ninetales GX, which can pretty much knock out almost everything except for those like Megas have like not Megas, those GXs have like 240 HP, like Decidueye. But still, Alolan Ninetales is a really good card, not only because of Blizzard Edge and Ice Blade, but because of the Ice Path GX. And let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Let's get the full look at it. So Ice Path GX says move all damage counters from this Pokemon to your opponent's act Pokemon. So when you're playing against Ninetales, one thing you always have to think about is, hey, if I swing into this, if I don't knock it out, he's going to move that damage off and punish me, which makes Ninetales such a good attacker. And yeah, they only use it once per game, but negating that damage off for that Ninetales, especially when you have 210 HP, is a pain. It is a big pain for sure for Pokemon players. So that's the cool thing about Ninetales is you can kind of mess it with your opponent because of the GX attack. Let's pull back Gustavo's list. There we go. So he's going to play 2-2 Octillery. There actually is no Shaman, but Octillery is still really good. It's kind of like a Ringaroo, but this is going to let you draw. You have 5 cards in your hand. Once turn to turn before you attack, you may draw cards. You have 5 cards in your hand. So late game, you get in. You're like, whatever. I have a Abyssal Hand. I can draw 5 cards in your hand. Not going to care about that too much. So 2 Tapu Lele, of course, to help set up, and 1 Koko. Now with Koko, you can start flying flipping, doing 20 everywhere, and then later on, Blizzard Edge can do 160. You can automatically take a knockout. You don't need the Choice Band. You don't need the Kukui and stuff like that. It's really good to start taking damage on the field and help set up knockouts. And also, what you could do is you could Koko plus Ninetales to start ice splitting people for 70 together, which can knock out Pokemon if they're not set up like Trubbishes and Rowlets, which is really cool. So that's something you can combine like Koko and Ninetales with. Like if your opponent puts in like multiple Pokemon that have like 60 HP, and then you Koko them, and the next turn you can like start sniping them off, which is really something cool. But the most thing here is we want to use is combine those with Blizzard Edge to start taking knockouts, which is really nice. And 1 Sudowoodo, I think it's going to be a first and only Sudowoodo if I remember correctly. Sudowoodo puts your opponent's bench down to 4, which could be really bad if you're playing a deck that is like really reliant on their 5 bench Pokemon. But we see 8 water, 4 double colors. Of course, the 4 double colors can go Tapu Koko, the Lele GX, and the Ninetales, because Ice Blade only needs a DC to attack, and with Blizzard Edge, you can discard just a DC to activate the 160 because you need to discard 2 energy, and of course for Ice Path to move all the damage off the Ninetales onto your opponent's active Pokemon. So we're going to see 3 Sycamore, 3 N, and 2 Lysander. Now this, I think it's the first time I'm not seeing 4 Sycamore in the deck, but with the 2-2 Octillery, we're going to be fine here. 1 Mallow, which is really, really good in decks with Octillery, because Mallow lets you search for 2 cards, put them on top of your deck, and then you use Octillery to draw to it. So you're like, man, I really need an Aqua Patch and a DCE. You can be like, alright, Mallow, put those 2 on top, Octillery, draw those cards, and automatically hit it. It's kind of like cheating, is what people will say, because you kind of like stack your deck, but you're going to be fine. It's not cheating. Mallow is just that broken of the card. 1 Kukui, like I said, do additional 20 damage, which can help you hit the key numbers, like 210 if needed, which can knock out opposing Ninetales GXs. 1 Bridget to get those Vulpixes out, and 1 Karen. Karen is going to help you a lot against the Vespiquen matchup. A lot of people were expecting Vespiquen this weekend. I don't think it did so hot, if I remember correctly, but Karen can automatically just like counter Vespiquen and be like, alright, whatever. All those Pokemon get shoved back in your deck and you can't do anything. And the most, I guess, crazy thing about his list that people will see is the 2 Rough Seas. This heals 30 damage for each of your water Pokemon, and you think he played 4 of these, but he's going to opt to only play 2. I guess for space reasons. There's probably reasons why. I guess because Ninetales is a tank enough, and you really don't need Rough Seas all that well. But Rough Seas still really, really good. Just heal. Oh, and Lightning Pokemon, so you can heal your Koko as well. But Rough Seas, I guess he's like, whatever. I can counter it. I can kind of have a healing, but I really don't rely on it too much. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker. And for Aqua Patch is going to let you charge a Water Energy from your Skrapala to one of your bench Water Pokemon, which can help set up Ninetales. So the cool thing about this is you can use the active Ninetales to start isolating everywhere while you're setting up a bench Ninetales with the Aqua Patches and energy and stuff like that. And it can help you recycle your Blizzard Edges over and over again if needed. It does go to the bench and not to the active, so that's one thing you have to remember. 2 Field Blower to get rid of tools. You kind of... the only really ability you have that you kind of rely on is Octillery, so I guess Field Blower late game, if you get into 1, hit Field Blower to get rid of a 12 Garbotoxin, and then Abyssal Hand, that'd be really broken. 3 Choice Band do extra 30 damage, and 2 Flowstone, which can help you recycle your Alolan Ninetales. We're going to see no Manaphy in this deck, so you don't have the free treat, but Flowstone you can treat between different Ninetales to knock out that way. Especially early game when you Koko, it's spread, and then you can use Ninetales, so you don't have to commit a choice bit on it, and Blizzard Edge, which at Koko is 180, which is a knockout. So that is going to be our top 8 decks. Now, the good thing about this is we have a bracket. So the first one we covered was Ryan's Table House. Okay, can't cover that deck yet, so Andrew Mahone. Yeah, so we'll cover Andrew Mahone. Andrew Mahone, he played against Sam Chin in top 8, and Sam Chin was playing his Drampa Garbodor deck. He used it to win a regionals, if I remember correct. I think he won. Yeah, he won regionals with it, unless I'm crazy. So Sam making an appearance with this, his Drampa Garbodor deck. And people saying, Drampa Garbodor, not a good deck. It's bad, blah, blah, blah. It has so many counters. But Sam proving, he doesn't care. He's going to make top 4 with his list and showing, Drampa Garbodor is still one of the best deck in the format, and there's a reason why. So Drampa has got that Righteous Edge, 20, Berserk, 80 plus 70, and Big Will GX. We've already kind of seen this. The card we haven't seen yet is the dreaded Garbodor. Garbodor wasn't in any top 8 spots, correct? No, it was not in any top 8 spots, but it did make 2 and spots overall. I think it's 2 spots overall. Garbodor. Yeah, it made 2 spots overall. All right. So you got Drampa Garbodor, Garbodor, of course, the Trash Lance, and this is where the deck shines. This attack does 20 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. And this attack is so strong. In the new set coming out, we have a Gardevoir that directly counters this, saying, hey, shuffle 10 item cards from your discard pile back into your deck. Make your Garbodor is not as powerful as it was, for sure. Now, of course, with the 3 Garbodors, he's still playing the 1 Garbotoxin and shutdown abilities, which is really nice. 1 Tapu Koko to spread. And this can once again start to set some knockouts with Drampa. Drampa has that Berserk, and also Koko is just really good against Gyarados and Gyarados. Kind of auto wins it because you can Flying Flip, do damage to it, and with Hax Maniac you can shut down Machokes and stuff like that. So that's really nice to help beat Gyarados. But Koko Spread, like I said, is just really nice overall. It has 110 HP. You can do 20 to everybody. It's just a really good attacker overall. It's probably one of the better cards that we've had as a promo in a long time. 1 Oricorio, once again, to beat those Vespiquen decks. 3 Tapu Lele. Of course, we want to hit a supporter card every single turn. We do not want to whiff a supporter card. And 1 Mewtwo. Now, coming into this tournament, one of the most hyped decks was Espeon Garb. Everybody said, it's the best deck of format. It can win pretty much everything. But if you look at the standings, there was no Espeon Garb in top 8. So, I know I told a bunch of people I don't understand how Espeon Garb is all that hype. It's good, but I don't think it's, broken. And with Psychic, if they do go crazy, you have that 20, and this tech does 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's a 20, 40, 60, 80. So you do 80, which is 160. But with the Choice Band, you can do 210. 220, right? 20, 40, 60, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, you do 210, which knocks out Espeon. And then they have to deal with this non-EX attacker Mewtwo. But then you can get it back with Rescue Stretcher and just keep punishing his Espeon decks. So Mewtwo is a really good attacker overall to help out against Espeon. Another Pokemon that are weak to Psychic. You don't really do damage. You really don't knock out Garbs. So mostly just Espeon for sure. So, 7 Psychic and 4 Double Colors. Of course, we need the Psychic for Garbodor. And the Double Colors to pair well with the Drampa. We are going to see 2 Drampa, and you're going to see him switch from not playing the Tauros variant, and just playing the straight, very consistent Drampa Garb deck. So, 4 in and 3 Sycamore. So, we actually see him switch this, and this is going to help you out against the Mirror, because when you play Sycamore, you have to discard item cards. Both in, you don't have to, but you don't want to play them late game, so that's kind of weird, in a weird situation. 1 Bridge at turn 1 to get down multiple Trebuchets and Drampas, which is really nice. 1 Hex Maniac, because it's really good. 2 Lysander, 3 Sycamore, 4 12, 3 Choice Band, do additional 30 damage. 3 Flowstone, 2 Field Blower to get rid of those tool cards, 2 Stretcher, 1 Kukui. So with Drampa, of course, you do like Berserk for 150, and the Choice Band 180, and then the Kukui 200, and then the Coco Spray to do 20. So you can see how like all these kind of like numbers kind of hit together, which is really nice. 4 VS Seeker and 1 Teammates, which is card I don't think we've seen a Drampa card unless I'm crazy. But Teammates is just proven it's just a really good card overall to help you find those DCs or Choice Band or whatever you need, and 2 Team Aggro Secret Bases, of course. So this way we can activate the Berserk attack and do that additional 70 damage because you do need to Pokemon on the bench with damage counters. So that is going to be Andrew Mahone. Sam Chan. He did take Andrew Mahone down with his Zoroark Drampa deck. I think they went to game 3. I can't recall how they went. It was streamed if I remember correctly. So that should be up on Pokemon's YouTube channel eventually one day. Alright, so next up is we're going to cover Igor. Igor did take down Gustavo with his Ninetales deck, and he's saying, you might play Ninetales, you're playing this really scary card with that GX attack, but Decidueye, I'm still going to take you down, and Igor's playing my favorite deck over the weekend, and that is the Espeon Decidueye Ninetales deck. So, if you missed Monday's video, this deck is kind of similar to mine. It's a little bit different. He does play the 1 Revitalizer, 1 Rescue Stretcher. Rescue Stretcher is not a bad card at all. It helps you re-get your Espeons or Cocos, whatever you need. But let's go over his deck list and see what's it about. So he's playing a 4/4 Decidueye. Decidueye with that Feather Arrow, you do 20 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. Not any way you like, but to put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon is probably one of the most broken abilities in the game. And he's got the Razor Leaf attack for 90. It doesn't seem that strong, but we combine this with Silver Angles. With Choice Band, you do 120, and the Feather Arrows, you can do 20 damage, and with 3 Feather Arrows, you do 60, Razor Leaf plus Choice Band 120, plus 3 is 180 for knockout, which is really, really strong. And of course, you can get this out turn 1 thanks to Forest of Giant Plants, making where your Grass Pokemon evolve ASAP, which makes the deck broken. We see a 2-1 Ninetales. We see that he's going to play a lesser Ninetales. I personally like playing a 2-2 line. It helps out against like Volcania and stuff like that. And I just love using the Ice Blade plus like Feather Arrows. It's really good attack. And if they swing into your Ninetales, you can then Ice Path them to punish them, like I said earlier. 2 Tapu Koko, really good card. The reason why this is so good is because it partners well with Espeon. So like I said earlier, Koko does 20 to everybody. Everybody start takes the damage. And when you're playing these evolution decks, this might not seem that great. You're like, alright, I'm doing like 20 to Metagrosses, like 250 HP. What am I going to do with life? But with Espeon, you actually de-evolve each of your opponent's evolution. So they take their highest stage and put it off into your hand. And what this can do is set up multiple knockouts thanks to Koko plus Feather Arrow. If your opponent didn't see it coming, you can like start Koko spreading plus like Feather Arrow to start sending like 60 and 80 damage. And all of a sudden you put down Espeon, de-evolve everybody, you can then take multiple knockouts. In some situation, you can knock out all 6 Pokemon and win that way. And I imagine this is what Igor did against Gustavo. He probably just de-evolved all his Pokemon, de-evolved his Ninetales, and took a knockout that way. Especially since Gustavo is only playing 2 Rough Seas, it does make it a little bit harder to protect your Ninetales from getting knocked out. It usually becomes weird when you're playing Ninetales versus Decidueye because, Ninetales has those 4 Rough Seas, so you can keep, healing his Decidueyes, keep healing his Ninetales, saying, I don't care, you keep swinging Koko, it's not going to do anything. But since he only played 2, I imagine this was a very big deal. And since, Igor played those 2 Kokos, it does a lot of damage, because now your opponent's in a weird situation. They have to Ice Blade Koko 3 times, or they have to use his 160 attack and discard 2 energies to knock out Koko. So Koko is a very, very bad attack, a very, very good attacker against Ninetales, and this is probably why Igor took him down. So 3 Grass Energy and 4 DCE. I'm always a fan of 4 Grass Energy. I do see a lot with the 3. Igor made it to top 4 with 3, so obviously it's still fine. It's a fine play overall. But 4 Sycamore, 3 in. 2 Lysander. We're going to see 4 Trainers Ball in Igor's list. This is going to help him be more consistent, find those cards he needs. I didn't play Trainers Ball because I was scared of Garbodor, but you're going to see he doesn't play any VS Seeker. So there's no VS Seeker in his list. That's the big difference. So basically, if you cut the 4 VS Seeker and you put the 4 VS in, if you cut 4 VS Seeker, put 4 Trainers Ball, you kind of have the same deck. It's really, really similar besides these 4 VS Seekers. So 4 VS Seeker is really good because you use supporter cards, but Igor's like, whatever, I'm just going to hit him because I played 7 supporter cards, 2 Lysander. I really don't need my VS Seekers overall. So for Ultra Ball, of course, to find your Pokemon, 2 Flowstone, 2 Choice Band, 2 Field Blower. Field Blower is going to be really nice against those Garboda decks, shut down the Garbotoxin, and be able to use your abilities over and over again. 3 Love Ball to find those Dartrixes and Rowlets, and even a Alolan Vulpix, so you can start using Beacon. But it's really nice. You can just start Beacon and make sure you find Decidueye over and over again. 1 Revitalizer to put 2 Grass Pokemon you just corral back in your hand. 1 Rescue Stretcher and 4 Forest of Giant Plants. And that's going to be the Decidueye Ninetales deck. And like I talked about in top 8, he probably had a really easy matchup, just be able to develop all of his Espeons. But now with 2 deck lefts. We have 2 decks left. We have Tor Redcliffe playing his Trample Garb, and we have John Kettler playing Decidueye Vileplume. And if you don't know, John Kettler lost, unfortunately. It's a really bad matchup for him, but John Kettler taking that 2nd place. So let's go over decks that John Kettler beat first. John Kettler, and he got paired in the top 8 against Alex Crickler playing Greninja Break, and of course John Kettler's playing Decidueye Vileplume. Even though he's got the Fire type, it's still a very, very rough matchup, especially with Vileplume. Vileplume with the Irritating Pollen just kind of like shuts down Greninja, making it where they can't play in their trainer cards and they cannot get set up. Then the top 4, he played against Igor, and it's kind of like a mirror match, but I don't know how this matchup went. I think they went to game 3. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, this game was on stream as well. I should have watched it. I was busy playing side events and goofing off with I was busy goofing off, so I don't know how the top 4 went. But I know John Kettler won as. Yeah, I'm not sure. Doesn't say how he won though. If it was like, the only thing on the website I do want to see is like who would win games how, like, was it 2, like, I want to see 2-1 and like 1-2. That's the only thing I wish to see, but still I'm excited to see these brackets overall. But John Kettler did take down Igor. I imagine had to do something with, like, he got to turn with Vileplume, Igor couldn't get set up, but Igor has Beacon, but then Kettler has Lugia with the Air Ball, which can do a ton of damage, but then he has Tapu Lele to swing back, but then you have Deep Hurricane, which they can knock out. I don't know, it's weird. It is very interesting. But let's go over John Kettler, who gets 2nd place. For all the attention Vileplume and its Irritated Pollen get only 1 deck that includes his Pokemon made it the top 8. John managed to find a way to make it to work alongside Decidueye GX. He also added Lugia EX to rack up damage with Air Ball, as well as to knock out stadium cards with Deep Hurricane. So we know what Decidueye does, Feather Arrow, Razor Leaf. We know what Vileplume does, Irritated Pollen, shutting out item cards. Now this deck might seem very inconsistent because you have 2 stage 2s in there, but we know this deck's not inconsistent. We know with 4 Forest Giant Plants, you can easily get the set out. With Revitalizers, you could discard Grass Pokemon, put it back in your hand. And John was able to get all the way to 2nd place with this. So 2 Shaymin EXs to help set up, and 1 Lugia EX. I know a lot of people, including myself, have opted not to play Lugia anymore, just because it needs so many energies, you have to commit a bunch of stuff on it, it's not that good. But Air Ball proven, you know what, I'm still here, you know, Layla has that Air Ball attack, but what we really need to look at is the Deep Hurricane. Deep Hurricane does 80 plus 70 if there's Stadium card in play, so it's kind of just like Drampa. Deep Hurricane, a really, really strong attack, and especially with Vileplume, your opponent can get set up, and a Deep Hurricane over and over again can constantly do 150, then 150, 150. And with the Lugia unchecked, you can kind of put your opponent in a bad situation and easily win games that way. And of course, with Feather Arrows, you can start doing 170, 190, and start taking knockouts. But we still are playing 2 Tapu Lele to help set up with the Wonder Tag. So, 4 Double Colors, 4 Energy, don't want to miss the Energy attachment. And we're going to see John Kettler's playing 4 in, 4 Sycamore, don't want to miss the Supporter card every turn. 2 Lysander, 4 Forest, and 3 Trainer's Maul. Now, Igor did play 4. We see John Kettler's playing 3. I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially since you need to focus on getting Vileplume out. And once you get the Vileplume out, Trainer's Maul is not that useful. So I guess that's why he's playing the 3. I guess there's space reasons as well, right? So 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Love Ball, 2 Flowstone gives us Vileplume that free retreat. Now, even if you don't have the free retreat and the license of Vileplume, you still have Decidueye to use in Feather over and over again. So you really don't care too much about them licensing your Vileplume. Yeah, it kind of sets you back. You have to, you know, Feather Arrow, but if they don't knock it out, you're going to win eventually with Feather Arrows, which is really cool. 2 Revitalizer, put 2 Grass Pokemon if you're just going to back in your hand, and 1 Olympia. John being spicy playing the 1 Olympia, saying, hey, if I whiff the Flowstone, I'm just going to Olympia, buy Vileplume out, and switch it with my active. Switch your active on your bench, heal 30 damage. This could be good as well, just heal the 30 damage, which is really nice as well. And 1 Field Blower, because once you have Decidueye set up, I mean, once you have Valpum set up, it's really hard for your opponent to find like a Floatstone because they need Floatstone plus Hacks in the same hand to turn back on Garbotoxin. But Field Blower can help negate that if needed, which is really nice. But overall, the grand champion for Norway was Tor Reklev playing a Drampa Garbodor deck. People, like I said earlier, thought this deck was dead. It's not good. Blah, blah, blah. Tor saying, you know what? It's still the best deck, and I'm going to prove that here today by winning the U.S. Internationals, or North American Internationals, with his Drampa Garbodor deck. Now, in top 8, Tor Reklev will play against Ryan Sebas playing a Volcanic deck, and even though Ryan had all these counters, Tor was still able to take him down, which is insane. All right, in top 4, we see Tor taking down Sam Chin, and I think this was 1-1, and Tor won it. It's a very back and forth game. It's kind of like who gets set up, who doesn't whiff stuff, and it looks like Tor did not whiff stuff. So it was a Drampa Garb top 4. I know both the top 4 games got streamed, so it'd be in Pokemon's YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. But in the finals, we have Tor versus John Kettler, and I told all my friends the night before that, it's a terrible matchup for Decidueye. It is a bad matchup for Decidueye. And the reason why is because that's Righteous Edge. The Righteous Edge does 20, and you get discarded DC every single turn. You can punish the Decidueye decks by Garbodor. Use a Trash Land. Decidueye needs a bunch of energies, or a bunch of item cards to set up, and you can punish them with Trash Land. And not only that, he does have the Garbotoxin Garbodor. So that can easily come and play, making it where your opponent cannot use their Feather Arrows. And we're going to see that Tord doesn't play any hacks. So what Tord has to do is put a Floatstone on multiple Trebuchets turn 1 and hope that they can stick, so that way he can use Garbotoxin and shut down the Feather Arrows, okay? Before Lele, and that's going to be it. There's no tech cards. There's no Mewtwo. There's no Coco. There's no Shaman. We're just going to see a really, really consistent Drampa Garb deck with 3 Drampa, 3 Garbodor, and 4, and that's it. Like, his Pokemon line is so simple, but like we said earlier in videos, consistency is key. He wants to be really consistent. He doesn't want to miss a beat, and that's what he did here today at U.S. Nationals. Now, one thing you're going to notice about his list is he does not play Team Magma Secret Bases. This is because when he plays the Mirror, I guess you can use your own Team Magma Secret Bases, which is not bad, but he plays 5 Psychic, 4 Double Colors, and 4 Rainbow Energy. Rainbow Energy does help activate that Drampa's Berserk attack. Now, I personally don't like this because you can't really swing by turn 3, but, Tord saying, whatever, I'm going to sit up, I'm still going to win. I don't care that I don't have Team Magma Secret Base, I'm still going to win U.S. Nationals, not U.S. Nationals. North America International, sorry, and that's what he did here today. 4 N and 4 Sycamore. With 4 N and 4 Sycamore and 4 Tapu Lele, I knew this is even worse matchup for John Kettler because he has access to so many supporter cards, even under Trainer Lock, so it doesn't matter. 1 Bridge to get down multiple Trebuchets and Drampa's turn 1. 1 Teammates, oh my goodness, once again, Teammates being in 2, I think like in 3 of the top 8 decks. 1, 2, 3 of the top 8 decks did play Teammates, and none of them were Vespiquen. That's just how good Teammates is. Just search for any 2 cards out of your deck to guarantee those those energy cards. Especially when you're under item lock, you can just Teammates for any 2 cards you need. 2 Lyson to bring a Pokemon off the bench. 4 Sycamore. He is not going to miss a supporter card. He's going to stay very consistent and make sure he does not brick. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Choice Band. He's not going to miss a Choice Band action, and 4 Floatstone. You can see, once again, just a super duper consistent list. 2 Field Blower, discard 2 tools in play. Your opponent's side of the field. 1 Stretcher, 1 Super Rod, and 4 VS Seeker. And that's going to be towards winning Drampa Garbodor deck. The key thing about this is consistency. We see 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Choice Band, 4 Floatstone, 4 N, 4 Sycamore, 4 Lele. 4 DC, 4 Rainbow, sure, yeah. 4 VS Sticker. There's so much consistency going here. He's not going to whiff. He's going to always get set up. And he's not going to draw dead because he has all these outs. And there we go. There is the top 8 list from U.S. Internationals. It's North America International Championship, Josh. Get it right. But tomorrow we'll cover seniors, and then on Friday we'll cover the junior division. So guys, if you have any questions about these decks, let me know down below. I know this video is kind of long, but tomorrow's and Friday's will be kind of quicker since we did break down a lot of these decks. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. It'll be a fantastic day. Alrighty, bye. Alright guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our 3 sponsors, 60 Cards, Yeti Gaming, and the Pokemon Company International. Links to everything will be down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty.